Good afternoon. Welcome to OptionsTender. It's Monday, September 8th, 2025. I just got done doing a bunch of videos for members. If you're interested, it's $4.99 a month for those in-depth videos, trying to get some education and what I feel is important at the time, and it's great information. So one of the things that we talked about, I'll give you a little snippet, is we went back and I wanted to do this the other day, but I didn't have time in the video. I wanted to show you a comparison from SPX, and when they diverge, I think this is rhyming. I think the same thing is happening right here. You had a high, and then you have a higher high. You have a high and a higher high. And in NDX, you have a high and a lower high. A high and a lower high. Now I go a lot more in depth on what the how that outcome pans out with that sort of wave count starting off, but that I'll save that for the members. Also, we're doing this intraday at about 12:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to get these videos intraday, consider becoming a YouTube supporter. It's 99 cents a month, and it comes with the Discord. And we talk about all this stuff anyway, so it's a great value, trade alerts, and we have two excellent trades off of, in my opinion, I think great setups in Tesla and in Apple. We're shorting those today, so check that out. We have announcements for Apple products tomorrow. Thanks, Turtle Sensei, for mentioning that. That's what brought on the trade that I thought we're in a great setup for that. And also, Sky, shout out to you in the Discord for all the fundamentals that you're bringing to the plate. And we're talking about Tesla delivery numbers and things like that. So great camaraderie here in the Discord. Thanks, you guys. All right, so let's jump into our regular analysis. Now, we added on, I took off the awesome oscillator because I felt like it was getting redundant with this Elliott oscillator. And I want to bring things to you that might help you visually see what's happening in the market. And that's what it's all about. That's what technical analysis is all about. It's a visual of what you think is going to happen, a probability. Okay, so my probability is that we're getting reversal here. Okay, but here's our new trend indicator here. So let me take these arrows out. I'm done with those. And this is so I'm calling it just the trend, so you can kind of see what is going on with the trend, so you can trade with it, or obviously this contrarian move right now in this state. But if we would have used this right here, for example, you have this you're in the red. All right, let me start off up here. So your moving average, that's your 20 exponential moving averages. And when I'm not going to go in depth of how it turns red and green, I already explained that in members, but when it turns red, now you're in a position, you're underneath these this moving average there, and now you have a setup. It gave you a sell signal here, but you don't actually short until it turns red. Okay, you have a buy signal here, but you don't actually buy until it turns green. That would have saved you. It would have saved me from buying when it was green at that time. I actually thought this was going to go higher, and we were going to get a lower high, and we did, but it ended up being a real shallow bounce there. And again, so we're in the red. We got the buy signal, but you don't actually buy until it turns green there, and the test of that 20 moving average, and you stay long here. You don't short at any point there. Now I did short. I shorted back here and back here. And that's my contrarian look at things when I get the negative divergence, like right here. It was a shallow bounce, but at least I know to take profit into the 20 moving average here. So this is more of a consolidation. Bulls and bears fighting. We're in the green here, but I think it's very similar to this situation. And if you want to be real conservative, wait till we get under this 20 exponential. Okay, and down here, by the way, this is the price time filtering bar count, and that's in your studies if you'd like. I'm not sure if it's on the other platforms. And don't worry about how big these get or small. It means nothing. They're not moving averages or anything like that. It's just telling you basically the length of time that it's been green here. So for a longer amount of time, and then it immediately turns red when the bars turn red. And that's just the amount of time that it's been red. Okay? So it has no other meaning but to tell you that it's red and green, and the bars do the same thing with it. And then you have the nice arrows that tell you when there's a close, the green arrow, close, a daily close above the exponential moving average. And here's the red. You got the day close below the 20 moving average. That's all it tells you. And here we're getting those whipsaws. Okay? So we'll use this each and every day on our analysis instead of that awesome oscillator, and we'll keep it nice and simple and short and say, okay, the trend is green. Here we go. This is choppy, but we're green. Moving averages. Okay, our 8 is our exponential. That's our momentum. We're above it. Now I will say we're at resistance, and we're at resistance in many different ways. Okay, and here's your 20 moving average. I went over in the video with the Magnificent Seven, with financials and all sorts of things. We have a lot of fuel that is available to the downside. So there's our channel that we rejected off of 3 times now. And if you draw a wedge here, you have your 3 peak. You actually have a 4th peak, which is not very common. Then you have your trend line that we're holding so far. If we lose that 8 and the 20 moving average, then we're probably going to lose that trend line there as well. And then you have one more area to dump or hold on to. That's this channel, which is with the 50 moving average as well. Okay, we have catalysts, the CPI and PPI. We talked about that in a weekend video. So our McClellan oscillator is next. All right, and it's rolling back over. It just divergences all over the place, and that's how many times can you diverge? That's probably, I'm not sure that a 5th one is even possible. I'm not sure how that works. I've never seen 5 divergences, a 5 peak divergence. But Brett is rolling back over. Not good for the market. All right, so here's our MACD, again, with those divergences all the way down here. We're looking for the histogram to expand to the downside or the upside, whatever way it wants to break out, before an actual big move comes in here. If you pulled up the ADX, I bet you it's getting really tight here. I'm not going to do that today. We'll look at it in the Discord maybe. So you see this consolidation here in RSI. Let's see if it breaks out or breaks down. But at this point, all it is our 4 peak that we're talking about. It's exactly what the setup is. Here's your 4 peaks. All right, this is rolling over. We want to see a crossover of this slow stoke, which could happen by tomorrow. DMARC, how are we looking on this count? Nothing really to see here yet. Just a 1, 2, 3 count. I doubt that's going to last up to 9, but no setup yet. Let's go to SPY. All right, SPY on this, let's see here, money flow index. Let's bring up the divergences. Now this does a really, really good job of catching turns. If you're brand new here, this is the RSI plus volume. And so I name it the accumulation distribution setup here. And you see that in the near term, we are getting distribution now. We're starting to head a little higher here. Is that going to continue? Do we actually get a little bit higher, or are we just making a lower high? So, I think the confirmation underneath this candlestick will be the nail in the coffin there. But divergence is all the way up here from this top, which we explain once you get a top, this could have been done, but well, it's actually this one, but we had a divergence into this top, and so this could have been done, but instead of a wave 5, this was an ending diagonal. This turned into a wave 1 that continued, and we talk about this in the members video with the Elliott oscillator. We really key in on that oscillator. It does really well for us, and then this moves, continued wave 3, 4, and ending diagonal for wave 5. Bollinger Band, we had our sell signal off of it. Let's see if we get continuation at this point. And the setup, if you're new, is hitting the upper band or lower band while in overbought situation or oversold situation. So this didn't quite tag it, but that is the setup where this came down to the bottom Bollinger Band, and you had a green buy signal right here, basically. Your volume shelf, we'll be looking for this to come into play when the market turns. You see we're building a shelf right now with this price action, and then you have one little probably bounce area here towards the lows, which is very typical because this is not only the former highs here, but this is the if this is an ending diagonal, the test of the lows is your first is your point, your first target. Okay, so we'll be looking for 620, that 620 area in our next move lower, and then there's a big gap, and we should see price get to about 600. Let's just call it 600, and anywhere in between, for our first bounce there. Elliott oscillator. All right, this is our peak here, looking at wave 3 into wave 5, which I explain on the lower time frames how you can tell if it's a 1 or a 2. You'll see there's different peaks on the lower time frames. But this one, in general, is just telling us 3 to 5, wave 3 to 5, 3 to 5. Okay, let's go to the VIX. What is the VIX telling us? The VIX is telling us that it wants a higher low. Okay, so we had that inverted hammer, reversal candle. We're inside right now. I doubt we'll get a follow through today specifically, but we get this inside day, price action's tight, and we'll be looking for prices to move higher at that point, which means SPY lower. Okay, and here's your moving averages. It's holding on to that 20. That's important, and having a tough time with this 8. But as soon as we either get a catalyst or this starts to move higher, you want to see get past these moving averages and use them as support on the way up. Well, nothing to report on MJ or MSauce. They're still holding the 382, so no need to waste time going on those. Here's your traditional look here. Now we're just back testing this this resistance zone. So the peak could have possibly been here, and this turned into a 1, 2, and then you have a 3, 4, and 5. However you want to count it, doesn't really matter. Ending diagonal, and then you had unfinished business here. We didn't know if we'd get up to that box. We ended up getting there, and then we got up there again with that spike, that fake break, and we're trying to get over that point right now. We'll see if price action does. This will be our first sign of a breakdown from this trend right here, and then we'll be looking for the bottom of this area right down here for the channel. All right, so what does this look like? We could use this trend indicator here. So we're in the green. Trend is up. Here's your 20 moving average exponential. And you can still see the sideways price action here. Even though it's green, you get that sell, can't sell yet, can't sell yet. All right. That's, I mean, I'll leave it at that. We'll, for our analysis, now we have a different trade setup that we use in the Discord, but this will keep you in the right trend if you're looking for conservative moves here, to wait and be patient, right? I'm not patient. We have our regular moving averages here. We're holding on to the 8, 20, all the moving averages. So price action is holding strong to the upside so far. We had that bearish divergence going into that spike up there. All right, we're looking for that to play out. And here, just a overbought situation. Once again, no divergence there. In the near term, do we make a new high? That would probably create a divergence here, but no real setup other than we're overbought conditions right there, which just shows strength. But we're just now starting to cross. We have a 77 over here, so we're getting a sell signal on the slow stoke. So that could inform us that we're getting a lower high right now. DMARC, we're at a 5 count. Do we get a 9 count before reversing? Possible. No setup yet. Money flow, we had that spike into overbought territory. Now we're in a cycle down low here. If we make a new high, do we make a lower high? That's what we'll keep an eye on. Bollinger Band, hit that top of that band, right? And that's your sell signal, got the sell. And now can't quite see if we're hitting that band. We're not hitting it yet. Maybe we hit it again with a lower high, testing that channel top again. And that would bring us into a steep retracement, but nevertheless a lower high. We'll look at the volume shelves. Well, we can try to look at it right now. Right there at the options expected move. First of all, we're at a shelf right now. We're holding on to it. And we have the next shelf at the options expected move. So if price makes it to the lower end this week, then we'll probably get maybe a bounce off of it. And then your next gap area is all the way down to 624. So we'll look for 635 and 624 to be good levels on the very near term, on the 65 minute, right? So it's very near term. LA oscillator, again, making those. Now on the daily time frame, we have this peak all the way going lower here for those divergences, peak to trough, peak to trough. But in the very near terms, I like to use this because you get that 3 to 5 right there, that 3 to 5. All right, and that gave us a correction in the near term. So right here, nothing to see here, no setup or anything. But going from here, this peak, 3 to 5, 3 to 5. So we're looking for a reversal. All right, we'll go back to the VIX. Take a look at this. We had that bullish falling wedge, broke out. We're back testing now, and we're at moving averages on the, again, that 20 moving average we're holding on to. And this is forming a smaller wedge here. So if we start to break out from here, you think we'll be on a move. And I think that it looks like it's potentially ready for tomorrow to break out. So we'll see if it does. Thanks for all the support here, you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hope this information helps, and good luck trading.